The leading Republican candidate, endorsements from lawmakers, past and present, as we get closer to the actual voting itself. Mitt Romney, of course, is leading the way with conservatives in Congress, but Newt Gingrich is a group of core supporters who've weathered the campaign storms to see the candidate flourish. Illinois Congressman Schock is supporting Mitt Romney, and Congressman Jack Kingston is supporting fellow Georgian Newt Gingrich. So, Congressman Schock, let me start with you. Why Romney and not Newt?
Well, I'm supporting Romney because he's, number one, the guy who can win the election, and most importantly, he's the guy who can best lead our country.
But you think number one, electability?
Absolutely. The polls show it, nearly every poll. General election voters who decide the election favor Mitt Romney over Barack Obama. He's our best chance of recapturing the White House. But, Chuck, at the end of the day, we've got no shortage of great ideas here in Washington, D.C. What we need is somebody who can get the job done. And you look at history, whether it was Ronald Reagan, who came from California, or Bill Clinton, who came from Arkansas. I'll take the governor from Massachusetts, a Democratic state who can get things done. That's the kind of bipartisan leader we need here in Washington, D.C.
Congressman Kingston, did you choose to support Speaker Gingrich simply because he was a Georgian?
I've known Newt for a long time, but having served with him in Congress, that led to my decision as much as anything else. I mean, this is a guy who has gotten something done. And Aaron mentioned Ronald Reagan. What two figures in the last 20 to 30 years have really changed the face of our country? Newt Gingrich is Speaker of the House. Ronald Reagan is President. We did the contract with America. We balanced the budget. When he came in, there were deficits of over $2 trillion. When he left, there were surpluses of over $2 trillion. We had 4 years of balanced budget, reformed welfare, reformed Medicare. These are not small achievements, especially with Bill Clinton as president. So while Newt can ruffle some feathers, he can also get the job done, and that's what we need right now.
Your leader, Speaker Boehner, had this to say about Gingrich's ideology. He's neutral in the race. Here's what he said.
You know, like all big fingers, they got some great ideas. Then they have some other ideas. It'd be hard to describe Newt as not conservative. I'm not sure he's as conservative as some people think he is, but Newt is a conservative.
Congressman Kingston, let me get you to respond to that. Speaker Boehner said he's not as conservative as some people think. Fair?
Well, I can say this. Lifetime American Conservative Union rating of 90%. That's conservative. And will Newt dabble maybe off the conservative talking points here and there and look at new ideas? Yes, he will. But a 90% lifetime American Conservative Union rating, to me, that ends the discussion.
Is it credible for Governor Romney to be saying Newt Gingrich is not a consistent conservative?
Well, I think at the end of the day, what's important is who's going to fix the economy. We've got an ailing economy. And does anybody honestly with a straight face think that the best qualified person to lead us to economic recovery, the best Republican who understands pro-growth economics isn't Mitt Romney, a guy who's a proven job creator in the private sector and a proven job creator as governor of Massachusetts? To your point about what others are saying around them, I think it's also important to note that the people who served with Mitt Romney as governor, the people who worked with him at the Salt Lake Olympics, are the people who are most vociferously in support of him, who are saying, look, I've worked with this guy. He's a credible guy. He's a respectable guy. I want him to be president. Contrast that with Newt Gingrich, who staffer after staffer, colleague after colleague have come forward and said, you know what, we're not sure he's the right guy.
Follow up on the ideology issue. This is the concern of Republican primary voters seems to be that Governor Romney's not a conservative.
Well, I think that part of that is because the media likes to focus on people's changes in positions. But look, if anyone thinks that Obama, from state senator to U.S. senator to president of the United States, from candidate in the primary to now president of the United States, hasn't changed his position on a number of issues or modified them in some way, you got to be kidding yourself. So at the end of the day, there's no one who's questioning whether Mitt Romney is going to be a free market, pro-growth conservative. And at the end of the day, the economy is going to be the number one issue, and he's the best guy to lead our party's ticket and ultimately the best guy to do the job.
Congressman Kingston, respond to what Congressman Schock was implying there, which is this issue of a lot of folks who have served. There's been I call it a whisper campaign in Washington. You've probably heard it. Yeah. A lot of these guys won't go on camera yet, but they are willing to tell you on background how much they don't like Speaker Gingrich, so saying they may like some of his ideas, but they don't think he's got the temperament to be president of the United States.
Well, I want to say this, number one, about his staff, his former staff. I went to a reception for him last week, which was hosted by his former staff, his chiefs of staff, his key people, the people who dealt with us on the Hill on a daily basis. And I think every one of them was there. I don't know of one who has jumped out and said, I don't like this guy. Now, you can always, as a Republican, particularly a Republican from Georgia, I can tell you, Chuck, unequivocally, if you want press, just jump up and say something bad against a fellow Republican, particularly Newt Gingrich, and then you can become the hero of the day and of the media or those who are critical of Newt. And I understand there's a big temptation with our team on it. I'm comfortable with Mitt Romney. I think
he is your second choice. You have no problem if he's the nominee.
Yes. And I would say all of them are going to have better ideas and be more conservative than the present occupant of the White House. But Newt Gingrich has gotten things done in Washington. The Republican establishment isn't going to like him because they don't really like change. When he came out with a contract with America, not every member of Congress would sign it. And the Senate poo-pooed it. It's just the kind of thing that Washington doesn't like a populist. And why the number one guy right now? Because he is connected out there with the population. Washington rejected him in May, had some missteps, and so he went straight to the people in New Hampshire, Iowa, and South Carolina.
Congressman Schock, let me ask you this in final closing. He said he's comfortable if Mitt Romney's the nominee. Are you comfortable if Newt Gingrich is the nominee? Are you
Look, I like Newt Gingrich. I will work my heart out if Newt Gingrich is our nominee to elect him president of the United States. But Chuck, at the end of the day, as a Republican primary voter, I want to nominate the most conservative guy who can win. And poll after poll shows that Newt Gingrich has a favorability rating below 30% with independent Americans. How do you win a general election fight if independent Americans don't like you? So at the end of the day, our strongest candidate who can win and who can do the job is Mitt Romney. And that's why he's got more congressmen than anyone supporting him.
I think you both articulated it well. The populist, anti-establishment, electability argument. We may see it tonight. Congressman Kingston, Congressman Schock, good to be with you. Thank you both.